Hi guys, I just woke up and I probably won't have time to film a video later today because I have a lot of stuff to do. So, um, this is my video for this week, filmed on my webcam, as I usually do when I don't have a lot of time. um, so this week's topic is trans representation, uh, in the good trans representation in the media, what we have seen and what we want to see. I can't stop looking out the window because it's so pretty. All of the trees are starting to get leaves, and it's getting so green. And when the sun hits the leaves, they almost look yellow, because they're so thin, and it's gorgeous. I love spring. It's like my favorite season. Um, anyway, what I would like to see in terms of trans representation is, I mean, there's there's no one story that's gonna hit all of the points that we want, So that's why I think it's important that we have several representations, like several characters in the media that are trans, and not just like one, two, or three. Because to show the diversity within our community, we would need a lot more than we do have. And I would also like to see trans people whose stories are not centered around being trans. I think I mentioned this. We had a similar topic not long ago. It was like trans representation. I think it was just trans representation in the media. Anyway, I would like to see characters whose stories are not centered around being trans. Characters who just happen to be trans. You know, as if, I don't know, like Rey in the new Star Wars movie, as if she happened to be trans, but that was just a detail about her character. But I would also like to see characters whose being trans affects them in some way, because to us, we like, for us trans people, for most of us, we we can't forget the fact that we're trans. Like we momentarily, obviously, but we are required and like forced by society. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm tired. We are made to think a lot about our transness by society, because we have to, because it's a matter of safety. And yeah, so it would be cool to see a character whose story is not centered around their being trans, like that's not the focal point of the movie, they just happen to be trans, but it still affects them. They still encounter prejudice, feelings of not being safe, or having to explain themselves, having to be like, you know, different in some way. Um, because that's how I feel. Like for me, that would be very relatable, because I am not only a trans person. That's not how I see myself, but it affects me every single day of my life. Um, at least as it is now, in some way, shape, or form. So that'd be cool. But I think also to have a lot of diversity within the representation. Um, I would definitely like to see more non-binary people represented, more people who are not white, more people who have narratives that maybe are less common, and yeah. But we're getting there, hopefully. The only like really nice representation I can think of right now when it comes to trans people is, I can think of two. One is Laverne Cox in Orange is the New Black, the character Sophia. She is very. I mean, her story is not. It's not. Well, her story. There's. I don't know. It was a while ago since I watched this, but um, she's not just the trans character. She has a personality and everything like that. But it's still clearly shown that her being trans has really affected her life. Um, and yeah, but I like it. I think it's good, and she does encounter prejudice for it, and I think it's a very human representation of a trans experience, and I think that's really, really good. And Laverne Cox does an amazing, amazing job portraying that character. She is so, so good, and obviously she is a trans woman herself, so um, that is really good. And there is a principal in Sweden. I can't remember her name, but she came out as a trans woman. She'd been living stealth for many years, and she came out as a trans woman, and so she's been interviewed in Swedish media, and I really like the fact that she didn't give the interviewer like all the pictures, like to compare when she before her transition and now after, or like you know after her transition. I guess the transition is like ongoing, but yeah. So this is rambly, and I'm sorry, but I'm tired. But those are some good examples that I think are good representation. Not necessarily perfect, but you know, good. um, and yeah, so thank you for watching. If you watched this far, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm such a mess, but I'm so tired. I literally just woke up. Anyway, I'll see you next week with a more structured video, hopefully. See you next time. Love you.